So here's an article out there that talks about, is being too agreeable losing you money? Being too nice. All right, are you too nice? Are you too agreeable? Is everything okay? Do you not push back enough? So the article basically talks about that mental health experts are saying agreeability, right, is having plenty of upsides for interpersonal relationships, but also has its fair share of challenges when it comes to dealing with conflict. You know, Tate always talks about that they basically want to demasculate the men because men tend to be more disagreeable than women, okay? So the military-age men, they're like, hell no, what the hell is this all about? And they'll speak up and say something where women tend to be a little bit more agreeable. But at the same time, you also hear sort of anecdotal stories about men becoming more feminine, not being confident, not speaking up enough, not saying what's on their mind, our fear of pissing people off or being disagreeable. But here's some stories about why being disagreeable and not being agreeable might actually be helpful. So people who are highly agreeable, yes, they can be friendly, but in turn, making them an easy target to be taken advantage of. Agreeable people try to please others and steer clear of arguments. So making it easy for disagreeable people to get their way, right? So how is agreeability losing you money? That's the question, because it's a money conversation, and not only so much a position of money, but your network, how people know you, your reputation, that will all lead to the bottom line, which is your money. So psychologists say that agreeableness, okay, make people more likely to prioritize personal relationships. I don't want to defend anybody or offend anybody. I don't want to piss anybody off. I don't want to get in the way. I don't want to make waves. Putting that over their career and income and basically saying, all right, like, let me do what I got to do to get this job done, to make money. I don't care who I piss off. So that being agreeable might lend you to go into fields like lower paying fields, like being a teacher, or certain instances where you're just like, listen, I don't want to make waves, I don't want to piss people off, and fields that do pay less, but involve more caretaking and human interaction. So this is something, I've never been the most agreeable person.
Yeah.
Sometimes I speak my mind, sometimes too much, but there's a barometer of that. There's a spectrum of that, which we're going to talk about right now. So PBD and I have actually talked about this. He's like, Sos is amazing. I met him at a financial conference 10 years ago. He wasn't shy, but he wasn't, doing too much. He was kind of like a good balance of being assertive, being selfish in a way, but not doing too much. So here's a couple clips from PBD that we've sort of clipped to highlight maybe how you should be and how you should act as a man. Here's the first one, talking about PBD basically saying you can't please everybody. This is in an episode he did called A Major Mistake First-Time Millionaires Make. Roll that clip. I believe it starts at 4:35, Malik.
To be at that level. But do I want to please everybody? No. Do I want to please every person that's ever been in our lives? No. Every relative? Definitely not. Why not? It's impossible. It's impossible. You try to do that, you will not live a happy life. Other people will try to suck all the energy out of you. You will not live a happy life. You know who you should never explain yourself to? You know this whole concept of so tell me why you were late. I got into a car accident on the way here. Here's a picture. Here's where I was at. Look at the time at the top, 7:38. Pat, I'm never late. You know what? You're right. Cool. You good? Everybody good? Pat, everything's good. I'm here. I'm going to get the things done. You mind if I take an hour to go get the car situated? I mean, do your thing.
Cool.
Because there's that, right?
All
now,
good. So essentially, you can't please everybody. There's a famous line in a song. It's like, you try to please everybody all the time, all that. And I'm butchering that right now. But, Pat talks about the book that's coming out December 5th that he gifted to Rogan, Choose Your Enemies Wisely. You have to understand, at some point, you're going to piss people off. You can't take the middle ground on everything. You're going to have to choose an enemy. You're going to have to piss some people off. And that's okay, because not everybody is going to like you. You don't want everybody to hate you, but it's okay to have some enemies. It's okay to have some people that are pissed off for what you stand for, because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So you can't please everybody. That's from PBD. Now, there's another clip right here that PBD highlights about asserting yourself and pushing back, and why nice guys miss out and why nice guys finish last. This is at 2:58, I believe.
you could sit there and be rational and not say anything, but somebody could say the following. You know what, John, I understand where you're going, but I have to push back. Let me explain to you why. It depends if you like a Lambo. Most buyers of Lamborghini, Most buyers of Ferrari are this. And then the other person can come back and say, yeah, I understand what you're saying, I know the history, but I'm telling you, Aston Martin is this. So forget about the thing, it's done. You push back a little bit. Everybody goes in their cars, they leave this party. Everyone's having a cigar, they're having a drink, or whatever it may be. When they go in the car, those 10 people in the car are going to say, what do you think about what he said when he pushed back and he said Aston Martin? I disagree with him. He actually has a good point, but they're talking about you. Because you challenge and you push back. Now you're a topic of discussion. That's the benefit of being assertive and challenging and pushing back instead of being timid or confident or quiet or rational or nice. You're missing out on many opportunities because those 10 people, when they go to the next party, you know what everyone's going to ask? Is such and such going to be there? Oh, yeah, he's coming. I can't wait to see him again. Oh, hey, what's up, Aston Martin guy? No matter what, they remember you. You're memorable, right? If you're on this side. Now, can you go past challenging and push back and be a little bit too much? Yes. That's when you go into the pestering mode. And when you go into the pestering mode, now you're annoying.
Okay, cool. Go back to that right there if you can.
Now you're annoying.
That image. So what I like about this, what I like what PBD does when he does these how-tos, is that he actually lays out where you can fall on the spectrum of being too aggressive or being too timid or being too assertive. Here's the nice guy pendulum. So here's advice to the young men out there. On the far left, which is the red one, you have timid and you're too nice, okay? Never want to be there. You're afraid to speak up. You're afraid to say what's on your mind. You don't want to offend anybody. Not the place to be. The next level after that dark blue is confident. All right, I'm listening. I'm standing there. I might not push back. I might not say anything, but I'll give my 2 cents, but not offend anybody. Cool. That's better than being timid.
Yeah.
Beyond that is being rational. Okay? Seeing both sides of the argument. Cool. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Cool. You're not getting emotional about things, but at the same time, you might not be speaking up and saying what's on your mind. So the next level on that is being assertive. Okay? You're rational, you're confident, but you're also saying, yeah, I don't know about that, bro. Because, and Pat gave the example of 2 different types of cars, whatever it is, an Aston Martin or a Lamborghini. And now you're like, well, what do you mean you don't know? And then I think that what I've learned from the PBD podcast, sitting next to him for the last 4 years, is he will push back, but push back respectfully. He'll say, allow me to give you a little pushback. And by the way, you can push back to me. But that's where you find the true sense of the argument. And that's where you find the truth, is pushing back and saying, yeah, I don't know about that, bro. I don't know about that. So I do sales. And I'll say, so I did my financial sales career that I do. I had a big account call me. Big account, massive. And he's like, here's why I don't like what you do. Here's why I don't like what your industry does. Here's why I don't like this. Going on. And I say, you know, Tom, I hear you. And I respect what you're saying. But let me tell you why I like what we do. And let me state the case for why I think it's important for this financial product. And do you know that our clients X, Y, and Z, I did the call right here. Do you know why our clients actually appreciate that? And do you know how many thank you letters I get because they didn't just let their policy lapse and they actually got money for their policy? So yeah, I understand where you're coming from, that sometimes it takes too long or there's a lot of information required. But the bottom line is, would you rather have a client lapse a policy for nothing or have them do a settlement for $250,000? Which one would you advise your client to do? And he goes, well, you know, at the end of the day, I would probably have them do the $250,000. So you're agreeing with me. So, and he's like, yeah, you actually have a point. So the point was this: I was respectfully assertive. Now I get that that's anecdotal and this is a very unique to my business, but I didn't just sit there and say, yeah, I understand, and be apologetic for what we do at our firm, which is the leading firm of the country for this niche product, which is life insurance settlements. I said, no, this is why our clients appreciate this. It wasn't a personal attack. I didn't come at him. I said, this is why the clients appreciate this product. At the end of the day, he's like, you know what, you're absolutely right. And let me reconsider where I'm at. But if I wasn't assertive with him and just sort of was a scaredy cat and was like, oh, this is a massive guy who is a massive, massive financial advisor, I don't want to push back for fear of basically him saying, you know, how dare you? I was like, no, let me stand my ground. And he appreciated it and it worked out in the end. So now, looking at that spectrum real quick, if we can go back to that clip, there's challenging. That's the next level. I challenged him, but I wasn't disrespectful. So the last element here is where I think a lot of people, certainly the super aggressive, super hardcore guys, is they don't get the message. Okay, can we minimize the screen, by the way? Can we see what's on the bottom? Or raise the screen, so I can see there's nice on the left. What's on the bottom right? Maybe just raise that up a little bit.
What does it say?
Bottom right is nice spectrum, on the right spectrum. Oh, pestering, correct. There's people that don't get the message.
Yes.
There's people that don't get the hint. There's people that push back way too much and they're annoying. And there's a fine line between being aggressive and assertive and annoying. So just know what that balance is. And if you want to see this episode, go to Why Nice Guys Miss Out, PBD Pushing Back, see where you're at with this. I would highly recommend, if there's anywhere you're on the spectrum, be to the center right.
Yeah.
Be to the center right. Maybe in politics, center right is okay too. I don't know. Maybe with financial responsibility, center right is okay too. But not being far right, and certainly not being far left. So here's the last point that I will say here. PBD did a episode about the benefits of being selfish, being selfless. There's a chart that we can actually pull up. Can you pull that up? Selfish versus selfless. You have that, Malik? Boom, here it is. So you have to figure out where you're at the spectrum. So some people are way too selfless. They only care about others. Maybe they're timid. They don't want to offend anybody. They don't want to speak up. Some people are way too selfish. They only care about themselves. They're sort of Machiavellian. They'll do whatever they got to do to get the job done. But at some point, yeah, they're too selfish. I think for a single guy out there, this might be a little counterintuitive. For a single guy, you don't have kids, you don't have a family, I think you should be 80% selfish, 20% selfless. Why? It's your time. Focus on yourself. Focus on your growth. Focus on becoming the person you want to be. You don't have kids you need to take care of. You don't have a wife you need to take care of. It's time to be selfish. That's fine. I think women, understandably so, you know, when they're out of college, they got to kind of figure out their career, despite what Nick Fuentes says about women going to college. But at some point, when you become a family man, when you want to have a wife, you want to have kids, you need to probably go closer to like a 60-40 split being selfless, because you need to be taking care of others. You know, what do they famously say? The definition of a man is when you take care of others. So find that balance in your life. But you can't please everybody all the time. Be assertive, push back, but don't do it in a disrespectful way. And find out where you're at on the selfish versus selfless chart. So hopefully that lesson right there, especially for the sales guys out there, for the entrepreneurs out there, for the people that make their money dealing with people, hopefully that provided some value for you guys at home.
So if you like that clip, click right here to watch another, or if you want to watch the entire SOSCAST, click right here.